Hi, welcome to a brand new episode of Kaskura Podcast. I'm with you, Rama.
And I'm Anuja. Welcome.
Welcome. So, Anuja, what should we talk about today?
So, today we're going to talk about passions and how passions become careers.
Yes.
And vice versa.
Vice versa. Yeah. I think it goes hand in hand. So, I'm a software engineer in New York City. So I will give you a little bit insight about how I became a software engineer and my journey through it. And what about you, Anuja?
And I will give you a little insight into what it takes to maneuver your way out of temporary jobs and really find your passion. Sometimes the job chooses you rather than the other way around.
Yes.
Because I didn't have a clear vision of what my career would be. I still don't.
Yeah, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody comes down to the earth thinking, oh, this is what I want to do and accomplish. And I think it's a little bit overrated, especially in our generation. So I first of all wanted to talk a little bit about how I got into computer science. I had no idea what I would study. I don't know about any other culture, but like primarily in Asian culture, it's not about your passion. It's always about what is trending.
Yeah, what's trending and what kind of money you're going to make out of it.
They were doing this internet data analysis before it was popular, right?
That's right, girl. And what was trending back then was doctor,
Accounting.
pilot, and accounting.
Accounting, yep.
And engineer too.
Engineer, yeah. So I wanted to be a doctor too, and I really enjoyed it. I loved biology. I loved physics. Chemistry I wasn't a big fan of, but bio and physics I used to get like 100%, you know? And what happened was like when we had to dissect an earthworm in high school, that's when I was like, no way I'm doing this. And at that time I actually went to my father and I told him like, listen, I cannot do this medicine because if I see blood, I'm going to pass out and they'll have to drive me to ER. And that was like first time in my life where my dad kind of like listened to my opinion, and he was like, okay. And then it was a relief, but at the same time it's like, okay, so what do I study now? And I wanted to study economics. I am still passionate about economics because it's so interesting how money runs the world, you know, and once you study business and economics, you see that. And I was also very interested in computer science. The funny thing is that like I'm a first generation college goer, so becoming a computer scientist was not even in the roadmap. I love it. I think it's really great.
That's awesome. I could never become a developer or each to their own, you know. It's all about finding your passion and finding what really makes you happy. Because think about it, you're going to do this working for 40 years maybe.
A really long time.
Yeah, so you better, you know, hold your chaps and just get to work and find something you really love. Because for me, it was a completely weird route because I'm still a work in progress. I cannot stand the idea of being in a corner and typing away numbers all day.
What?
So,
that's a dream job. That's what I did. Just kidding.
So I did suffer. Because during undergrad, I started off studying accounting in Oklahoma, University of Central Oklahoma. And then I rerouted to human resource management. And I moved to New York. And here I went to Baruch College for grad school. And I started off again in accounting.
Again?
Well, I was very proud of myself for getting into Baruch. And then I rerouted to marketing, thinking that, okay, this will give me some kind of creative outlet. A year and a half passes after I graduate. I still haven't found that job that really, you know, lets me grow. Speaks to me, lets me grow. I was still doing temporary jobs here and there. I was doing lighting assistant and started taking pictures. And I just enjoyed the bejesus out of it. I just loved it. And then that spiraled into something else. I started my own jewelry business. And then after that, my friend who I went to grad school with, she was like, oh, hey, I need a creative person at my work. Can you join? It's really low pay. Just think of it as, you know, you helping me out. To be honest, she was just like very thankful that I was on board. And I was thankful towards her because she trusted me enough to bring me on board. So I did it. And then they liked my work enough to extend my days, extend my pay. I get to be extremely creative.
Yeah, and you love what you do, right?
I absolutely enjoy it.
That's the key, yeah. So going back to what we just talked about, a decision to find a career is never a straight path. There's so many people giving you so many ideas. There's so many expectations from different family. If you're American, if you're from any other culture, there's already these expectations. So we really hope that you kind of understand that it's very important to kind of know who you are on the inside and try to be passionate and proactive. Like, you can't just have a passion and not do anything about it. You have to do something about it. And at the same time, have the guts to kind of, there's going to be a lot of people telling you, oh, you're not smart enough.
You're not good enough.
Yeah.
And just to make things clear, we're not saying this from a place of privilege because we both come from a very humble background. Most of my life, I grew up in a one-room apartment. The kitchen is in the same place. All of our beds are in the same place. So this
it's very handy though.
Yeah, it is very handy. You need mom's right there. You need dad's right there. You need to yell at your siblings. They're right there.
They're right there. Yeah.
So this comes from a place of experience and struggle. My dad was an artist. He is an artist, but he wasn't able to encourage that on us because he knew it was really difficult. It was really difficult for him.
You can be from different countries and your family and your culture can have different expectations from you. But since we're trying to show you our ways in America, I think that once you're in America, you should have a clean slate in your mind, because at this age of internet, the traditional way of making money is not what it used to be. Like, people are making money out of like posting things on Instagram, and just like this whole
there's a wide genre of jobs and careers out there. You can be an influencer now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like the job that exists now didn't exist in your parents' time. So you have to have an open mind, and you have to kind of like, when you're in America, like, you can be a photographer and have a comfortable living. You can be a writer. There are like content creator. Like, there's so many fields out there. Do you want to tell them a little bit about the general education, the college period?
The first 2 of your years in America are spent, if you're starting with undergrad, is spent doing general classes and prerequisites, like completing prerequisites.
Yeah.
So you have to take English composition class. You have to take history class. You have to take some sort of humanities class. You have to take science, math, like all these basic classes.
So I think to better make you understand what these classes are, these are the foundation classes, right? So the general idea is that you study like psychology and management and these general classes in 4 year. If you're coming to a 4-year college, like bachelor's degree or undergrad, there's this foundation classes that you need to take that doesn't necessarily have to
be your career.
Yeah, have to be your major.
Yeah.
You can just take the general classes. Yeah.
And you can even skip from one huge denomination of major to another. Like, suppose if you're in art school or liberal arts school where you're studying humanities, literature, political science, whatever, you can jump over to business. There will be a few extra classes you might have to take.
Yeah. Yes, true.
But it is still possible. It's never too late. Like, I used to have 70, 60-year-old students in my class, you know. Always be open to getting knowledge, always be open to, honing your skills, and always be open to learning every single day.
Yeah, and there is always a way. You can talk to your student counselor, and there's always a way. If you are interested in something else, you can always switch major. But don't let this be like, oh, you saw this great documentary about cooking and now you want to be a chef. So don't let this be a fluke of a moment kind of thing, but let this be something that you're actually passionate about and you want to do it. And another way I think we discussed about this, how you could explore your passion, is there's a lot of student clubs in this universities, right? Like, were you participating in clubs?
I was part of the Nepali Student Association.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, you have to be. I was part of the International Student Association, which was an umbrella association that housed all the other small country groups. And then I was part of the marketing club at grad school. You can be a part of accounting, like whatever is related to your major, or you can be like part of a cultural group or there's clubs for dance clubs like in Baruch College. I went to Baruch College jazz
club, and I think one of the great club that I joined was called AIESEC. It's AIESEC, and I think a lot of students, if your college has an AIESEC program, you should do it. So this club really helped me get an insight on what is business and how marketing and everything works. So the point is that try to find clubs in your school. And if there's something that's inside of you that's like, oh, I wonder how this is, don't be shy. Just join the club. Just show up. Everyone is a student like you, and just see if that's something you'll be interested in, right?
This is the best place where you can be actually a little vulnerable and like speak the truth.
Yes.
Because later on in life, when you're networking with professionals, like already existing professionals, people always walk into the room and try to size each other up. So I think when you're in college and you're going to career fairs, you're like joining all these clubs, you can actually be vulnerable. You can ask questions. Any question is a good question.
That's so glad you said this, because going back, if there's something I would change is ask questions when I was in college, because, college is a place where you're there to learn, right? What I would suggest to people who are in college is like make a elevator pitch about yourself. Like, what are you? Where are you from? What to major?
Tell me in 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds, what that is. And also like ask questions, because that's where you kind of like sharpen your tools. And then when you come out and deal with the real world, you're actually like sort of prepared.
Yeah.
Right?
So all in all, what we're trying to say is your passion can turn into career. There's number 2, there's never ever a straight path to a career. Number 3, you do not have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And things will change. And also, Anuja, we have one very important point about temporary versus permanent jobs.
Yes. I pretty much waitressed throughout grad school and undergrad school up until September 2017. And, I was really depressed. And, I always tried to like, whenever people ask me, oh, what do you do for a living? I always said, oh, I'm a waitress, I never like put forward my passion, which was photography, which was music, which was just being creative. And I never put that forward. I always shielded myself as being a waitress. And that really messes with your psyche, because that's what you identify with. So I think that's a big no-no. Do not identify with your temporary job. Whenever somebody asks you, oh, just say I'm studying this. Or, right now I'm really into photography, or right now I'm, honing my skills in music.
So I did a little bit of gigs here and there too, like in school. And one of the things that I find in a lot of immigrant people in America, whether they're here to go to school or just here for like different reason, one of the things that I see is like, we come in here and we let this thing define who we are. And that is not true at all, because, the end goal of coming to America should not be earning dollars. The end goal of coming to America ideally should be that you explore the opportunities. Like, America is huge. There's so many things that you can do. I was waitressing too. I was waitressing, hosting. And when I was doing that, it was always like, I felt like, oh, maybe I'll be stuck here for all of my life. And, and that was just a phase. And I think it's kind of sad that a lot of time, with all due respect for people just going out there and sustaining themselves in America, it's great. But at the same time, there's more, and try to explore more of these options. And, like, just because you make dollar doesn't mean you're set. There's always that talented person inside of you. Try to find it and try to push yourself.
I mean, for some people, that might be the goal. That might be the end result. It's totally cool.
It's totally
you do
cool,
you, boo. But we're just talking to those people who come here, work, and they earn a certain amount of money every week, every month.
They might feel that they're stuck too. Yeah.
They might feel stuck, and also they might just be like, oh, this is great. I make the money. Like, I don't have to go to school. But do not let your dreams die like that. If you're passionate about something, if you wanted to become a doctor, whatever it is, be it.
We're not trying to say some profession's good or bad. We're just trying to say that if you have potential, and if you think that you can, that's what your passion is, there's always these side gigs that you can do to support your main gig, like main passion. And don't let the side jobs define who you are, and don't be stuck there. I know it's very comfortable, right? Like, it was when I was
so
waitressing.
I was like, oh, I'll just do this.
And you come home with like cash, and you're like, okay, so do I really have to get a real job? But no, you kind of have to get out of your comfort zone, look at the things in the long run and plan it that way.
Yeah.
So,
and to just sum it up, like we just want to say, follow your passion.
yeah,
It's okay to be a work in progress. You don't have to know right off the bat.
exactly.
Don't follow the money, follow your heart,
Yeah.
follow your passion.
Yeah.
I know it's one of the most cliched lines ever. And
But
I
it
was
is
so
very
sick
true.
of hearing
Yeah.
it, but it is true.
Yeah. So yeah, with that, we kind of want to wrap up our episode. I know it's been a little longer, but I hope you got a little bit of insight about what we're trying to, tell you our stories about our employments, our short-term, long-term employments, and how we try to find our passion in America. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode of Kaskura. It's been real talk. This one
This
has been real talk.
Real
Yeah.
talk. All right.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Kaskura Podcast. We're on Facebook at Kaskura Podcast, and you can always email us if you have any questions or any comment or any ideas that you want us to talk about. Our email is kaskurapodcast@gmail.com. And with that, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Good night. Namaste.
Namaste.